How's it going, everybody? My name is Morais, and welcome to my first ever tier list. This was an idea given to me by one of my subscribers about a month ago. Yes, 1 month ago. And I'll be ranking every single horror game I've played on itch.io, but only the games I've played until then. Maybe in the future, in case you give me a good review on this video, I'll make another tier list. I'm gonna try to be brief, gonna try to be, not waste too much time on each game because it is quite a big list. And I'm going to try to be as precise as I can. And, to me, the deciding factors will be horror factor, like how scary the game is, storytelling or lore, I guess. Even though most of these games aren't very big, they kind of have somewhat, a bit of story to them. And overall playability, yeah, let's get started. So first of all, the first game I played was Death Trips. I went in this game without knowing what the hell was going on, and I got a hell of a surprise. It is very, very short, which takes away a bit of his points, but man, it's funny. It's such a funny game because, and it does have a little bit of a scare there towards the end. But just because it's so simple and short, I'll put him in C tier. Next up, we have Buckshot Roulette. Now, Buckshot Roulette isn't quite, horror, but I decided to include him because it's just part of my channel and I really, really enjoy this game. Playability is really cool. I like the art style, I like the mechanics of it, and yeah. Story based, I like it as well. You play as a gambler in a disco, and you're gambling with your life, basically. I think overall I'm gonna put him in B tier because it is all that, not too scary though. Next up we have Rinse and Repeat. Yeah, this game, it's alright. It's quite the scary one because you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know what's about to happen when you close your eyes, when you play it for the first time at least. And I kind of like the jump scare. And also the different endings. It's pretty funny. But other than that, there's nothing much that happens. But yeah, it is an interesting one and a pretty short one as well. I think I'll put it in the C tier, right next to Death Trips. Next up, we have Crowded Followed. Now, this game was pretty nice when I played it for the first time. It was quite scary and tension building. I don't know what the story of it is, but it reminds me a lot of that movie, Followed, and I really like the mechanics of it. I'm gonna put it on A tier because, it's just a bit scarier than all of these. Next up, we have Lamppost. It was quite an interesting game. It was about an SCP of a lamp. I like SCP. I'm not too quite into the lore, but I like, the SCP containment breach and all that. This game wasn't too scary. The story was alright, and the playability, was normal. So because of that, I'm gonna put it on D tier, just because I don't think it's quite on the level of these, okay? Next up, we have Replay. I really enjoyed the mechanics of this game. You don't move at all, but you just move inside your room. You're playing a game within a game, which is a really nice and interesting concept. And it was quite scary because then in the end you just control the character inside the game you're playing, and it eventually kills you. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed this game. So this will go right into A tier because it's just not quite there. Just not quite. Next up, we have Forest Ranger Services. You know, just kind of like Lamppost. It lacked a bit of the scares. It had a moment in when we were on the car and the radio just starts talking to us, and there's like a small jump scare. You know, I didn't quite get what else was going to happen in the game. Although, you know, it is interesting, but sorry, it's just gonna fall short into the D tier again. Next up, we have Go to Bed. Now, Go to Bed was really creative. I really enjoyed it, and I found it really, you know, interesting. You know, the different scenarios, and overall, you know, it was kind of scary and creepy. You know, I was kind of, you know, having the chills in the end because of the plot twist it has. Of course, I'm not gonna tell you. You have to check it out yourselves. And because of that, I am actually gonna put it on S tier because I just found it very interesting. For real, it's very short, but it's very interesting. I'm not even lying. I just like it. Next up, we have Find or Be Found. Now, I like this game in terms of like the tension it builds because you're just looking for a cup, a precise cup. It's kind of difficult though. It's a bit, you know, scary when you're trying to find the cup and the time is running out, and then an animatronic's just coming at you, and coming at you, and coming at you.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna put it at B tier, just because I think it is a bit hard. Right before Buckshot Roulette. Next up, we have Slide in the Woods. I enjoy this game a lot. You play as a little kid that's just sliding in the woods, all alone in the wood, and all alone. Then just suddenly it goes dark, and you slide into another dimension. You know, just a regular Friday, right? It is pretty scary and pretty creepy, and I am going to place it on A tier. Next up, we have The Survey. I enjoyed it. It was creative. It had a bit of a few errors, like, you know, vocabulary errors, you know, like it got some words wrong, some bad English. But, you know, I'm not one to judge. Sometimes say some stupid shit. But other than that, it was creative, not too scary. So it's just gonna fall flat on the D tier. Next up, we have 3 Minutes with Your Dog. Now, this game was kind of the first one that I played on itch.io that really made me like, what the fuck am I playing? Like, legitimately, what the hell am I playing? It's not terribly scary, but it's so creative, you know? It's super, super creative. But, you know, it just falls short on the scares. I think it could be scarier, way scarier. Something else could have happened that would, like, just freak the shit out of me. But regardless, I enjoyed it. So, because of that, it's going on the B tier. Next up, we have Samantha. Now, Samantha, it was like, it's probably the only game that I did 2 parts because I was recording it, and I had so many other possibilities to say to this woman. It has a bit of its scares, but I feel like it could have more action, maybe. I know that this is probably just a demo, you know, so I guess it doesn't help that I played the demo. If I played the entire game, maybe the entire game has more story to it, more stuff, more interactions. Regardless, it's a pretty nice game, you know, a pretty nice demo. I'm going to put it on C tier. Next up, we have Five Nights at Shredder's Hotel. Now, this game was just funny as hell. Sure, it has one of those moments where, it scares you, but god damn it, it's just so funny. It really is. It reminds me of Death Strips, you know, like it plays the horror comedy combo so well. But unfortunately, I am going to place it on B tier because it's really entertaining. It's very creative. It's very funny, but it's not too scary. It could be scarier. Next up, we have Drowned in My Nightmares. Now, god damn it, if this game was a bit longer and had a bit more, story to it. I mean, I guess I understand the story of it, but it's just, one of those games that really, really picked on my phobias. It's just it's so scary. I'm so afraid of the water. Yeah, this game really, really scared me. Nonetheless, I'm gonna put it on A tier because if it was a bit longer and had a bit more things to tell, man, it would have been right up there on the S tier. Next up, we have Fractured Mind. Now, I really enjoy this game a lot. It just had one problem. The ending, I absolutely fucked up the ending. I didn't kill the monster and I had to replay it all over again. And it was so painful to have to do it all over again. It was so painful, so painful. But it's something that was my fault. And I'm not going to say it's the game's fault. I should have been a better player, I guess. And regardless of the confusion in the middle of it, to finding those codes and all that, it is a really great game with a great story and nice playability. And the graphics are pretty much the most realistic graphics I've ever seen in my entire life. Regardless, I played PT, but god damn it, this graphics they're right next to it. So I'm just gonna put it on S tier. Next we have Lixian's what? Late Night Mob. Yeah. Late Night Mob. Yeah. What can I say? It's kind of a funny game. But at the same time scary as well. It's very well made. I really enjoyed it. I just wish Lixian would give me any attention. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's gonna go on EA tier. Next up, we have Confined. Now, Confined was alright. It doesn't have much story. We have no idea why we went there, why we got into that situation. We had 3 minutes to escape. And if we didn't escape, we would get jump scared. And, it's not like it's kind of, just screaming in your face. And it's not like it's too hard to escape. So I'm very sorry, but it's going to be my first F tier game because it just lacked a lot. It just lacked a lot. So sorry. Next game is Wrong Floor. Now, let me tell you this. This game, I mean, I'm not quite sure why we got into that floor, but let me tell you this. This game scared the shit out of me. Like, I was terrified the entire time. Really, because I had no idea where to look. It was, tense. It was very tense. I had no idea when the guy would show up. It was just scary. I suggest all of you should just check this game out. It was quite terrifying. The lack of lights was just a masterpiece. S tier, straight away. Next game we have Death Troopers, the first chapter. I really liked what they did with that. The fact that they did like a zombie Star Wars thing. I just wish it had a bit more continuous playthrough. It was a bit buggy, the first chapter. And because of that, I'm just gonna put it on a C tier because I think it could have been better. I think there could have been a lot more done. Meanwhile, on the other one, the chapter 2, I already enjoyed it way more. It was, in the forest. I liked the playability, It could have just had a bit more to it. The ending was a bit, cliffhanger there. They could have just done a bit more. But it was well made anyways. B tier. Next up, we have Unolingo. Oh, it's an alright game, you know. It's kind of interesting. The fact that you need to know Spanish to continue. It's not too scary, you know. It kind of reminds me of Granny, but you know, a really not scary version of it. So I'm just gonna put it on D tier. Next up, we have Escape the Evil Mr. Beast. You know, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my worst videos because I thought that maybe putting Mr. Beast in the thumbnail or playing a game from him would, you know, help with getting more views. I know this sounds stupid, but it is true. The game itself is not too scary, like at all. It's just a bit frustrating because of the mechanics and all that. So unfortunately, it has to go to the F tier because I really think they could have made something else better than that. Regardless, you know, it's an alright game. Next up, we have The Toilet. It's pretty creative, honestly, and it has a scare there that really made me jump. Not gonna lie. You're not gonna lie. I just don't know what the fucking story of it is, the lore or whatever, you know? But it's pretty creative. I'm gonna put it on C tier. And mostly because of that scare. That jump scare in the middle, oof, that really got me. Fucking hell. Next up, we have Intruder. This game was pretty interesting. I liked the story, you know, like the intruder was the actual neighbor and they were working with the intruder or whatever. But it was not too scary. You know, it was not that scary. Sure, I mean, we had the guy running after us. You know, it was pretty basic. I think it's gonna be my first E tier because I don't think it's quite in the level of these, I guess. It's, you know, I think it's fitting, honestly. Okay, Cannibal Massacre. This game was kind of random, honestly. You know, it was a bit, I felt like it was made just to be, you know, let's make a game. There, done in one day. I don't remember how long it took to do the game, but you know, it felt pretty basic. Other than that, I mean, I don't have much to say. It's not too scary. It's alright, I guess. I mean, it's going to F tier. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm so sorry. Okay, next game is Call to Summon. It has an interesting mechanic, but this game is not scary at all. It's just, you know, challenging. I mean, I guess I did put it here as if it was a horror game, and it's quite not a horror game. So, I mean, it is a bit unfair just to say it's not scary. It's really short, you know. It's creative, but it's really short to use the camera that way. Other than that, I don't have much to say about the game. I'm gonna give it a few points for creativity because, I mean, other than these ones weren't too creative. So sorry. This one was way more creative because of the camera. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Next game is Glass of Water. Now this game's interesting, you know. It has a nice. I put a nice thumbnail on it. You know, it makes you think, what the hell's that monster over there? It had a nice scare in the end, but you know, it was so generic, and the game's kind of short. And overall, you know, I don't know what the fucking story of it is. I mean, you're just gonna get a glass of water, I guess. You know. I mean, most of these games are short, so it's like, you know, what kind of story do they have to tell? But some of these games are short and still have some story, so I know what I'm saying. This one just falls short on the E tier, mostly because of that jump scare in the end. April 24th. Now, this was just the demo. I probably will play the full game. I know it's already out. But I really liked the demo. It had some nice scares, some nice, you know, tension building. You know, it's one of those found footage horror games. that really makes you, kinda on the edge. I'm gonna put it on C tier. Mostly because it's just a demo, it's not too big. Next up, we have Ring Academy. Now, I really enjoy this game for what it is as a game. It's kind of scary, it's random and funny, but god damn it, it really ruined it for me because of the ring tossing. It's so challenging, at least for me, it was so annoying. Like, the final part was so annoying, so annoying. But, it is my fault. It is my fault for being bad at the game. So I'm not gonna, help, blame the game. I'm not gonna blame the game. I'm gonna put it on B tier nonetheless. Because, I mean, it was really scary, but too challenging. I'm so sorry. For me, at least. Next up, we have Torture House. This game almost made me feel like it was a puppet combo game. Like, legitimately. Of course, it fell short to it, but I liked it, it was kind of nice. I think the guy could have shown up more times, they could have had more scares, but I like the story, the woman was going to a hotel, she was working as a model, and then all of a sudden she just got kidnapped and went to a house where she was kind of tortured. She's not that tortured, but whatever. Yeah, it goes to B tier. Next up, we have Carcass. I really like this game. It has probably the best story out of any game. It's a post-apocalyptic Earth. I'm just so sad that I fucking ruined the ending the first time and I had to replay it again. But once again, it's not the game's fault. It's my fault for being a bad gamer and glitching and bugging the fucking games. It's not too scary though. Not too scary. But since it has so much story and such good story, I'm gonna put it on B tier nonetheless. Eyeless Jack. I like this game. It was kind of short. I like the story, but it was not that scary. It was not that scary. It was not that, ooh, what's gonna happen next, It was kind of predictable. It is based on a creepypasta, so it does get a few points for that, but I cannot rank this higher than D tier. I'm sorry, I just can't. Next up we have Gimmick, another game by Niven. Niven Hedinger, the same developer as Lamppost. Did quite, got me. It got me like once or twice, but it's not, it's not too scary. It's other than, those small jump scares it had. I can't put it higher than E tier. Sorry, Niven. I'll even put it, higher than in the highest one in E tier if I can. But other than that, I'm not gonna put it way higher. Next up, we have Laundry Night. It's alright. It could have been better. It could have had much more scares. The story was alright. I'm gonna put it on D tier. Possibly better than these. There. Next up, we have Stewie Kills the Griffins. Now, this is the one game out of all of these that is not horror. I just put it in the horror theme because, it's kind of brutal and violent. Just like Family Guy, and Family Guy's not horror. But, why not? It's basically every single itch.io game. I should change the title to every single itch.io game that I played. But since they're all horror, I'm just gonna keep the horror there. I liked it. I like this game. But, it could have been a bit better. Could have been a bit better. I'm gonna put it on D tier. Slightly better than these. There. Next up, we have Late Night Shift. This game was alright. It's just, jump scare galore. I mean, after the first jump scare or the second, it doesn't really scare you that much. We have no fucking idea why the hell there are galaxy spiders coming along. I don't know. I'm, I'm just gonna put it on F tier because I mean, it's probably the best of F tier, but other than those jump scares, it doesn't get too many points. So sorry. Next up, we have Mimic Search. Okay, Mimic Search was kind of alright. The story was well told. It just lacked so many scares. It could have been way scarier. And also, the ending, in my opinion, it could have had like a group of people just, uh, rounded in an area where you're like investigating each one of them, and you have X reasons to, you're the culprit or you're the mimic or whatever, and you just choose the mimic. And it could be right or wrong. But no, we just see the mimic in his full version, his full appearance. Other than that, it's an alright game. I'm gonna put it on D tier. Hazing Night Shift. I enjoyed it. It's kind of scary, kind of tension building. It doesn't have any jump scare. It doesn't have, man, that it's that scary. It's not that scary. I like the story. There was kind of a murder, and the graphics were really nice. Other than that, I can't put him much higher than C tier. Ritual. Ritual was kind of funny, It has a ton of endings. I didn't find them all. I'm sorry, I couldn't just bear, it just didn't have the patience for it. But I enjoyed the endings that I got, and it was somewhat, creepy. It wasn't too scary. And because it has so many endings, I'm gonna put it on D tier right after this one. Yeah, there. I think I like that. Jolly Bay. So, Jolly Bay is not that much of a scary game, in my opinion. It was, it got me off guard at one time. But, it could have been way better, in my opinion. I'm gonna put it on E tier. The Uncanny Test. I found it interesting, could have been a bit better, could have been a bit creepier, could have had way more questions, but it didn't. And because of that, I'm gonna put it on D tier because I thought it was creepy. I thought it was kind of creepy. Fear of the Moon. Fear of the Moon was alright. I didn't find it scary at all. The story is pretty much a group of guys that just go camping on a forest where supposedly there's a werewolf. And, they're dumb enough to still do it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's alright, I guess. I'm just gonna put it on E tier. Right there. Someone's Outside. Now, out of all the games that I played, this is probably the least creative one. I even put Ronald McDonald is evil in the thumbnail just to, try to get some attention to like everyone who sees the thumbnail. They'd be like, oh my god, what the hell is he talking about? Why is Ronald McDonald evil or whatever? Just because he is the character that chases you in the game. But this game is, it lacks so much. I am so sorry. It is the absolute worst I've played in the entirety of my channel. And I do apologize. I do apologize if this sounds like a rant to some of these games. Some of the developers might actually think that I'm just, speaking badly of the game. This is just my personal opinion, You can't win over every single one. Maybe somebody loves these games that I put here. I'm just not one of them. I played them. I thought they were entertaining. But, I'm giving my opinion, and, it is what it is. It has the value that it does. I'm not that big of a YouTuber anyway, so who cares, right? Terminal Terror. Another one of those games where, damn, it just lacked so much. Like, it could have had something else, some other scare, something, that, I don't know, something could have happened. Just gonna put it on F tier. I'm so sorry. Elevated Dread. I really enjoy this game. I thought it was pretty scary. I thought it was, like, very tense at some moment where, you went up and up the freaking building. As you went higher, it kept getting scarier. And I really enjoyed it, I really, really enjoyed it. Of course, it could have had way more scares, way more. It had the potential to scare me even more. But, I also spoiled the last jump scare, which was funny, but, I really enjoy the gameability and playability, I mean, and I'm going to put it here on A tier, right after Slide in the Woods. Stairways 7, the playable teaser. It was alright. In my honest opinion, it could have been better. But I don't know. It's still it was just a demo I played. It felt kind of challenging. And I still have to play the full game. But the demo, at least, I can say it's either E or D. Either E or D. It's gotta be like E right here, I think. Yeah. Sorry. It's just, it was alright. Security booth. I enjoyed it. It was interesting. It wasn't too scary. It was kind of like, what the fuck was that ending, I'm just gonna put it on D tier. Right after these. Yeah, right here, I think. The Cornfield Road. I enjoyed the game, but it lacked so many scares. So many scares it could have had. So many other options. It's going to the E tier nonetheless. The Crawler. It was alright. It could have been a lot better, in my opinion. But it was kind of creative, It's kind of creative. I'm gonna put it on E tier. Morning Tide. Now, Morning Tide was such a nice game. I really enjoy the story of it. Like, besides Carcass, because Carcass is a post-apocalyptic scenario, this game, Morning Tide, felt like he was in some sort of what's the name? Basically, he's in a state where he's reliving what he's done, in some sort of a dream state where he pretty much got cheated on, and he decided to kill his whole family. Ain't that great? I really enjoy this game. I'm just not gonna put it on A tier because I hated catching those fish. I hated it, but it will go on the highest of the B tier. Siren Head. Man. Speaking of wasted potential, man. It's such a nice game. It's just so bad. It's full of glitches and bugs. I swear to God. It still goes on C tier because of how good I found the game. But god damn it. Could have been so much better. So much better. When the Lights Go Out. I liked it. It was a bit of a generic, guy goes into a house. There's a killer. Almost gets caught. but lives to tell the tale kind of story. It wasn't too scary at all, but you know, it could have been way worse. I'm just gonna put it on E tier. Clap Clap. I found this game so interesting, you know, like never have I ever played a game where, you know, they use the clap mechanic where the lights would just shut down. It was not too scary, you know, it wasn't terrifyingly scary. It was all right. I liked the story and I liked the playability. So I guess I'm just gonna put it on B tier. Right here, I guess. Right here. No, here. Thank you. No Way Out. No Way Out was a bit generic as well. I liked, you know, the escape, the whole escape thing. You know, it wasn't too scary, honestly, but you know, it was all right. It was all right. I'm just gonna put it on E tier. New Home. I really enjoyed this game. You know, it was so funny because I named that rat something. Now you guys go check that out. The name that I gave the rat was just made it way funnier. I don't know why. The playability was alright, you know, it was a simple game. And the story was pretty nice, you know. And I mean, by nice, I mean completely dreadful and full of guilt and sorrows and, you know, everything bad. But yeah, it's alright. I mean, it was not just alright, okay? It definitely deserves B tier. Probably around here. Late Night Snack. Yet another game that I almost didn't publish it because it was so short. It was, you know, kind of... You know, I could give him a few points for that jump scare that it got me because it was so loud, but it shouldn't have gotten me because it was so basic. I don't have much to say about the game. I'm just gonna put it on F tier. I'm so sorry. Last Birthday. Kind of like the other game, Late Night Snack. It was, you know, all right. It didn't have much to it, you know. It was just, you know, escaping the basement of a killer clown. Other than that, I mean, I don't have much to say about the game. You guys can go check out the video if you want. I mean, it's alright, I guess. I guess I'm just gonna put it on F tier. Right here. Actually, right here. Best of F tier, I guess. Holbrook Hotel. Now, this game is, you know, one that I played very recently. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I liked the story of it. It was somewhat scary. Very funny. Very, very funny. I found it very funny, I'm not gonna lie. And the first scare I got was kind of, you know, like, holy shit. It deserves A tier for sure. Probably right here. The best of A tier. Those Shall Not Kill. It was alright, you know. You could have way more. Of course, it was just a demo, and I will play the full game for sure. But at least the demo, I can say for sure it was like probably a C tier because it was kind of creepy, you know, the ambience. It had a lot of ambience right about there. The other one, I just played this game and it's very fresh in my memory. I like the concept of it, you know, the camera to another dimension, and things just appear in front of you as you watch the camera clips. But it's not too scary. No, it could have been way scarier. And I'm just gonna put it on the D tier. Jack in the Box. I totally forgot to put this in order. I played Jack in the Box a long time ago. I made a joke about it, like the guy that's chasing me is Jacksepticeye. Um, I don't really know what to say about the game. I played it a long time ago now. It was alright. It wasn't too scary. I'm just gonna put it on D tier. Well, there you have it, folks. That is the tier list according to my personal preference, okay? My personal experience of these games. It doesn't mean that you don't enjoy other games that are down here and you dislike other games that are up here. You know, this is just my opinion. Feel free to let me know in the comments below which games you would, change to where, And if you want, you can 100% do this tier list on Tier Maker. I put it public, it has the same videos, the same things, the same thumbnails there for you to make. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like and perhaps subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. See ya!